we go. And we're live again. Are we live everywhere? Let me just double check. Maybe we're live everywhere now. Let's find out. Oh, we might be live everywhere now. God forbid. Oh, we're live everywhere now. Literally got upping and starting again. Right. My apologies to all of you lovely bunch in the Discord, by the way. I realise we've had a few issues, but hopefully the spam wasn't too much there. Right. Shall we try this again? Hang on a second. Twitch. Please. There we go. Right. We'll try this again, shall we? Bloody hell. Right. Welcome back to the Servant of Yapp. This time with everything actually here. Hopefully, anyway. Anyway, we'll let those ads do their thing. Hopefully turn off those pre-rolls. But yes, we are back. And fuck me, some issues today, but it's all working now. Hopefully I haven't lost the chance to have any use scoop on in. Hopefully not. Knowing my luck, probably, but hey. Can't say I'm not a dedicated streamer when I want to be. So, technical issues aside, weather being hell frozen over, various things of mine just breaking, which is fantastic. Yeah, here we are. We just make sure my audio's working. We just make sure. There we go. I had to check that. I was like, oh fuck, is it working? No, we're fine. Exactly. We're all actually working. Yes, we have things in the pipeline, which is good. It's good. I always like having things in the pipeline where I can. That'll hopefully perk my mood up once they are ready to go. Now, I need to figure out a good time to do session 0. And also, let me just, while I'm thinking about it. Spam. Right, there we go. Again, my apologies to the Discord and the spam there. Have I lost the way the camera to on? I have, haven't I? But yeah, now we've fixed that issue. Oh, I've done it again. But yeah, now we fixed that issue. Hopefully, we can have the rest of our stream without issue or any chicanery. That first bit can be, I don't know, a cheeky bit I'll never get seen again. But it's good to see we are live everywhere now. Yes, we are actually live everywhere, which is good. It's only taken several attempts. Never say it's always easy. Sometimes it's very concerning. Let me just look at the stream health. Stream is healthy. Good. Stream better be healthy, because I'm feeling very unhealthy. Half an hour of problems, I swear to God. Hopefully tomorrow is smoother. Hopefully. One can only hope for much improvement. So, hopefully your first week in this wondrous dream we call 2025 has been well. As I said earlier, mine has been atrocious, frankly. It's been absolutely diabolical. But it can always get better, it can always improve. And it will. It will improve. Not every day can be a golden day. You gotta have some bad ones. You gotta have that day of dirt and crap. Mine tends to be more common, but hey. It ain't always bad. It just means the good days are really good. That's how I see it anyway. I may not be the most sought after or successful person around here. I mean, I'm certainly not. Certainly not. I can barely retain a goddamn audience. But hey, I need to stop saying that. I need to stop saying that. But we can always get better. Refine my art. 'Tis the goal of this year to refine myself. To get better at what I do. That's what I want. I want to be better. I want to get better. I want to improve things. Hopefully. And hopefully, you know, I can make that. I can do that and retain interest. That's the goal. But either way, I'm looking forward to doing A Voice in the Dark, which should be live. I keep bringing it up, but I'm very excited for it. I'll be honest, I'm very excited for it. It's not often... Well, I've never been able to DM live, so... I'm hoping that'll go off that hitch. And we'll all have a good time of it. That's what I want. That's what I'm hoping for. That we'll all have a good time of it. And I'll be able to show you all the madness I willingly put my players through and get myself put through by them. Because it's not a one-sided affair. No. Just because I am closer to the stereotypical maniacal DM does not mean that I'm immune to my players' chicanery. Sometimes those fuckers manage something ludicrous. Sometimes. Other times they discover I am filled with terrors that's unleashed upon them at any moment. Little do they know. It could happen at any moment, whenever I feel like. Yes, so they best be careful. Else I might decide to pull a bit of chicanery on them. Just crack my fucking everything apparently. Holy. There we go. Nice satisfying click. Definitely wasn't my back doing that clicking sound. No, I'm not that old. Except it was my back, but... I'm approaching 25 this year. So this is bad. It is. It is most concerning. So it means I have hit my mid-20s. What does this mean? Nothing. I mean, they say, like, just sort of certain cells stop doing their thing by then. But I think it's random. I don't think it's bang on the day. And to be honest, I think some people get very over-dramatic about the idea of being 25. Or being mid-20s or late 20s. Like, you're in your damn 20s. I really don't think... You know, I don't think it's actually as bad as people say. I genuinely do believe that it's just not the same thing. And, you know, even when you hit your 30s, I mean, It's not that old then. Like, maybe you can say you start getting old when you're in your late 50s to 60s, sure, but 20s, 30s? No. I think, like, I saw some post by someone who I personally think's a bit of a sketchy motherfucker. But they were like, oh, get with them old ladies who were born from like 1998 to 2001. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean old? Do you mean of age? Like, that shit sounded fucking yikes. Like, some people on Twitter, of course, maybe a bit freak, like, a bit disgusting, frankly. I mean, come on. Nope, I should not have done that. There we go, I've widened my YouTube Studio screen so it doesn't clip my wing as much. But it's just a bit weird, you know. I just think some people are just a bit weird on there. Which, I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. It is Twitter after all. It is inherently weird. But you guys watching me alright, of course. That's how you get out of the weirdness. You follow Baron Zarko Brown. That is your first step to enlightenment. Doesn't matter where you follow me from. Just follow. Wherever you choose to follow me from. There is no wrong answers. Except a platform I'm not on. Someone might say, but Cobral, you have a Rumble. Yes, because I originally made it as a backup for my YouTube. Then I realised how shit Rumble was, so I didn't bother with it. Because it is... Right, genuinely. I do not get that people are like, oh, go to Rumble. Why would I go to such a terribly made website? Like, good God. YouTube competitor my ass. It's terrible. I'm sorry, it's terrible. It's so badly put together, like, the user interface is god-awful on it. And frankly, it just needs a dark mode for starters, not interface. So, now I'll keep with my YouTubes, my Twitches, and, you know, Twitter's alright too. You know, it has its moments, it has its pluses. It has its subject minuses too, but it has its pluses. I recently discovered someone that randomly blocked me and I have no idea why. But, you know, I don't really think about it that much. Enough for a funny anecdote perhaps, but nothing more. I was like, oh, how come? I have no idea. But I don't interact with them, so it doesn't really matter. Maybe they just didn't like my voice. It is a shame on them. But I got you lot at least. And that's what matters to me. But hopefully you're all doing well. Hopefully you've all had a jolly one. You know, a merry Christmas, a good new year, and hopefully not too hungover in this first week, you know. In this frigid time, unless you're on the southern hemisphere, I suppose. Which, in that case, then I guess you're in a warm time, lucky you. Your winter is diabolically warm. If anything, I'm could be, you know, correct me if I am wrong, but if you're on that neck of the woods, I'm pretty sure you're just enjoying a lack of being grilled alive, I imagine. There's got to be some aspect of it. Meanwhile, over here, we get grilled alive maybe once every couple of years. The rest of the time, it's wet, it's cold. Currently, it's just cold and snowy. As I look out my window. Not that you can see it. I can't magically show you my window. Probably for the best. For all I know, somewhere amongst you is a savant who can deduce my location based on various geographical things that I am not smart enough to understand. Perhaps. Or just they'll see something, go, oh, I know what that is. Or I'm sure you could, like, image search it and do all kinds of shit. Hell, maybe someone can get an AI to find me. Honestly, that is something I never thought about, but legitimately, right? You could just, like, have an AI scroll through Google Images, right? Or Google Maps, right? You have an AI that can go through that. That's terrifying. No, that's actually terrifying. What the fuck? They probably could do it too. With programs to know what to look for. They probably could. Especially if they could look at older photos to see, like, there's a person's face that maybe isn't there in the current one. Because they do update them every so often. And every now and then they'll have the van wander around and we'll get to see all the weird chicanery. Except for some places, of course. You can't have it go into Area 51. Unless... I mean, everyone knows kind of where it is. I swear they just probably have nothing secret there anymore, because everyone knows where it is. I honestly could see them just going, yeah, we've got nothing secret here. The world knows where we are now, so just keep nothing important here anymore. Like, if the US government, for example, has any alien anything, right, legit, it's not going to be in Area 51 anymore. I bet you they've moved it. I bet you they've moved it and they've, shimmied it somewhere else to God knows where. Maybe it's all in Alcatraz. There's the tinfoil for you. And now, to distract the CIA agents looking at my head right now, I will deploy the snake to distract them. If you use Discord, you need to search up snake drinking water. You will find the best GIF Discord has to offer. There you go. Have a good day. No, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, just want to put it out there. I'm not going to go full Pipkin Pippa schizo. Unless. Maybe after a few drinks, but no, I'm drinking purely non-alcoholic things right now, so my chances of going absolutely schizophrenic are 0 to none. I also definitely wasn't trying to test my multi-stream chat and my general stream chat because part of me didn't trust it was actually working. I could see it, with all the random issues I've had. Someone just says, hey Cobra, is your chat somewhere? Oh shit. No, it works. Thank God. It does worky. For now. Knowing my luck, it'll blow up in my face at some point. It'll be utter nightmare fuel. Oh, Jesus Christ, I am stiff as fuck today. Jesus, not in the good way. Just my back. Any of you a masseuse? Are there any masseuses in chat? Or watching? Yeah. Anyone an expert at, cracking one's back in such a way that it feels normal again? Or maybe it's my gamer posture. I really need to put a posture check thing in at some point. That might actually be a good idea. Not even as a redeem, as a reminder that goes off at me every so often. To just stretch midstream. I ain't gonna do it sus either. Unlike some people I know. Wink wink nudge nudge, Onyx. Unlike some people I know. You guys might know who he is. You might not, he's not streamed in a while. But it's okay, I'm going to drag him back onto a stream at some point. Eventually. Probably, I don't know. At some point it'll happen. I'm not coping. There is no cope. Only Cobra. Oh no. Did I almost come up with a fucking... You know, you have choke dog. My cope roll now. Cope roll doesn't really work. Maybe it does. I'm forced now. It's not going to happen. I'm forcing it. Which is a poor meme because I'm forcing it. It has to happen organically. Like all good things, it must happen naturally. It'll come again at some point. We'll have the snake on copium or something. I don't know. The cobra beam copium go good actually. If I ever have a little bean made, we might do that. I was thinking about it. There's an outfit down the line. There's maybe something else. It's not model-wise, it's just a design. Let's put it that way. I'll give you the tease. It's just a design that I wanted to have illustrated so I can actually see it all together. Because, you know when you have an idea and you're not quite sure how it's gonna look, and you want someone who's good to kind of put it all together for you? That's what I've done. Oh, hey buddy, Happy New Year, Chief. Not seen you here ever, but how you been, buddy? How's your year been? Or your new year, rather? 2025. It's already 2025. We're old now. We are old. You are old. I am old. I can feel the wrinkles in my face already. That is probably just stress. This is probably just stress. But it's okay. That's why I'm a VTuber. You can't see the stress wrinkles. There's no wrinkles on this thing. There's no stress here. Except in my mind. It's not been... Ooh. Yeah, no, it's alright, man. You don't have to... Don't worry about it, man. You don't have to... air out everything in front of everyone. By all means. Keep it in the DMs of me if you like. Totally up to you. But, hey. It started out shitty, but... it'll get better. Feeplum. God, I know, right? It'll get better. I think genuinely it will get better. Mine's been iffy myself, but I think genuinely this year, I think it'll be a good year, personally. That could be just me being dumb and naive here, but I actually think it will be a good new year. I have hope. Maybe misplaced, maybe ill-founded. But I think there's a chance. I think there's a genuine chance. Hey, I'm open to, man. you me both, man. I mean, hey, won't just be my year. There's many people in the world. It could be your year too, man. Easily. I mean, a friend of mine recently made 50 followers. I said to him, hey, maybe this year he makes affiliate. He's been working hard. So, hoping for him as well. So, but I do think it'll be a good year. In before, you know, end of the year comes around, it's terrible. World War III started. No. I think it's the storm before the calm. You know. Unless you're in California, then my condolences. Because holy shit, you're burning. Holy fuck, you're on fire. Down there. Holy. That's a big fire. I do not envy them. I have my condolences to them over there. But, yeah, you can always get better from there. So, I suppose at least I can be thankful that there's no large fires. It's too wet and cold for that anyway around here. The snow has not pissed off for days. It has been a great excuse not to go in. Fortunately, I can work from home just fine, so I'm a bit screwed on that front. But not having to use transport is nice. It is nice. It's all for... Oh yeah, oh god, yeah, it's rough. As you say, that manual control does help a bit with these kind of things. But if you pure auto, oh, yeah, pray a little bit. Definitely pray a little bit, especially if you're in a rear-wheel drive car. Which, yeah, no, that's just nasty. I remember when I was younger, this was back in high school, I want to say. Well, we were gonna head towards... Yeah, that's it. I think we were going to drop my mum off to work, because at the time I had to be woken up very early to then quickly throw food down my neck, go with my dad to take my mum to work, come back, get ready for school, and go to school. However, this day, that didn't happen, because when we tried to leave, well, oh, no. Let's just say where I used to live was quite high up. One of you in chat will know this. I used to live quite high up, and let's just say the way down that little slope was very cold and very snowy that day, very icy. And we were in a BMW, which is a rear-wheel drive. It just barely managed to get back up the hill, and we thought, you know what? Let's not go anywhere. I know I see it occasionally when I go for a walk. Like, I can actually see like the top of it. It's a weird feeling. It is a weird feeling seeing it from afar, and I've been used to being up there. There is honestly a part of me, a small part of me, that would love to go back and re-buy the old house and do the thing like I always kind of wanted to do if I ever had the money. If I ever got the money to do it, and the means to reasonably do it, go back up there, get the house, knock in the next door neighbour's one, buy it off him, knock it in, and like make one nice big house. Or even just having the old home back. It was, honestly, man. Like, where I am now is not bad. Don't get me wrong. But you can tell it was a formal rental. We're gonna spruce it up a bit, but you can tell it was a formal rental. So it's got that, you know, the rental paint. It had that everywhere. Still does. Unfortunately, they did the same paint in the bathroom, and if you know anything about bathrooms, you're not supposed to use the same paint in them as you do everywhere else, because paint doesn't like getting wet constantly. And, yeah, so we have to give fiddle of that at some point. Because we, you know, a lot of moisture gets in there and just peels the shit off. But no, the old place, I was told apparently the kitchen had been swapped out several times. And it hadn't managed to keep people in for very long. But I think, and again, I'm not going to say where it is, I don't want to dox myself, but I'll say where I used to live, it was a stone house. I mean stone. Like cut stone. Not into bricks, but like stone. Like it for those of you who are turbo zoomers. Oh, first time I do it past it. Also, it was a trip. Fair. I mean, it's a trip going past there, to be honest. The high up, but for those of you who are too zoomer to know what stone houses look like, or potentially live in a place where there are no stone houses, think a cobblestone block from Minecraft, if you have to. It kind of looked a bit like that, but less organised. You know, because these real rocks, so, you know, it's a bit more varied up. But, yeah, it's a stone house, hundred odd years old. And been there for quite some time. And all of them were. It's one of those neighbourhoods where you could tell all the houses were built at a similar time. Like, I think my old place was built back in 1840, or something ridiculous like that. So, old ass place, right? Then, yeah, we remodeled it before we sold it off. It looked nice after remodeling, don't get me wrong, it looked really nice. It was all said and done. The view, though. I miss that view. I do. I genuinely do miss that view. That view. That was a view. That was a beautiful view. Especially from like the main bedroom. I was in there for a little bit and that was good. Oh god, yeah, the fog. Right, the fog is like, it's like the clouds just descend. And if you're lucky, you're above the clouds, but if you're not lucky, they just hang there. It's just like, it's a horror movie, like Silent Hill. Honestly, like that. I know my nan used to never like driving through it at all. It just get that thick. And not all the roads are streetlights. Because, again, old neighbourhood, old infrastructure, old everything. So, there were no streetlights. It was just kind of fucked. But you know what? There was a charm to the place. A genuine charm that I miss. You just don't get in a lot of more modern neighborhoods. But 'tis in the past, and I've lived where I currently live now since 2019, so I've been here for a while. Oh, excuse me. Give me a chance to crack everything up. It's, from like a logistics standpoint, it's better here. Don't get me wrong. Like, I can actually get to places, like the day job and that. So, in many respects, it's better. And I'm closer to family. But, at the same time, I always miss where I used to be. There's just something, I don't know, it's hard to describe. There's just something that was just really serene about the place, you know? There was also a very good lack of neighbours doing construction work at all hours. That was a bloody plus. Not that round here. And the walls weren't thin, so I didn't hear every bang and scrape from the other side. That was nice to not have to deal with. So I remember when I first moved here, I could not sleep. Because I'd hear everything. Like, more modern houses have... the walls are too thin. They're just too thin. Like, if you do anything, you hear it. Like, you'd think there should be brick in between them, right? But you might as well have, I don't know, board. Literally just board between the two. You can hear them that well. Someone talks clearly. Yeah, I don't know. I miss that aspect of it a lot. I mean, admittedly, at my old place, the neighbour was just never there. He was always away. I was sure he was dead, I'll be honest, because of the state his side of the house was in. I was very certain he was just dead, but Apparently he was alive. Some, though, lived in a shit tip. I'm talking cracks up the walls. I think the guy's window was busted out. Yeah, it was busted out. It boarded it up. Looked terrible, honestly. Definitely devalued some houses around there. But at the same time, it was nice up there. However, there is no public transport up there anymore. It might as well be revoked. Which is all well and good. Except, yeah, my lack of a car does mean that living up there would be a pain in the ass. Also, we had nowhere to park. We actually have somewhere to park here. The old place said nowhere. Like, I think we parked down the street. Because we were one of the only houses that didn't have, like, a place to, like, pull in the car. Everyone else did. Just we didn't. Which kind of sucked. It did. But, again, there were ups and downs to the place. That's why, as I say, if I could, I'd love to go back, if I had the money, to get that and the other place and just squish them into one place if I could. That would be like, if I ever had the money to pull that off, I would do it. I would. Like, that's, just be nice to have, honestly. Never say never, though. Never say never. But, more realistically, I'd probably just get the initial place itself. The only reason I'd want the other half is just to get the other half repaired, honestly. Because it was really bad. Like, there were cracks. Brother, there were cracks on that thing. And, I mean, both halves, the pointing was a bit rough. The roof was going to need redoing soon. Which apparently had already been done once before, a long time ago, but it definitely needed redoing. I mean, I heard a few stories about the place where I used to live and how it was in a lot worse a state. It needed a lot of work, but it got that work, and it looked really nice for it. But I'm reminiscing on the past, which I'm very prone to do. I'm very, very prone to doing it. It doesn't take much. I swear, I sound like a fucking old person sometimes. I'm not that old, I promise. I'm really not that old. But I might as well be. I might as well be sometimes. For how much of a reminiscer of old days I am. Then I suppose the year 2000 is, well, further away than the 80s was to the 2000s. There's one for some of you who are older. Although I don't know if I have that age demographic. I actually don't know what my age demographic is as far as viewership. I'm pretty sure it's mostly 20s, but I could be wrong. A few of you could be a lot older. I know Drunken Dwarf's older. He's in his 30s. But I don't know the rest of you. The rest of you I imagine in your 20s. I had to guess. But I am welcome to being wrong. Some of you could be in your 40s for all I know. I don't know. I don't judge. I certainly do not judge. At all. Just check one little thing over on the X site. Good. all good. Gotta check stuff every so often, especially with how they've been today. Like I said earlier, some shit just was not working at all, no matter what I did. And then it just decided, right, it's time to work now. Like, oh, God, okay. Only half hour late, but you win some, you lose some with this whole thing. Like, you'll probably see this stream and go, oh, it's not going that long, but originally I'd started it at 7:30. However, there's a reason this is part 2. I'm probably not going to bother saving the VOD for part 1, because nothing much happened. I'll leave it here on Twitch. It'll stay here for a while, and then it'll vamoosh into the ether. A relic that wasn't needed, which, to be fair, I'd rather this one stay around anyway, because it's actually got a working multi-stream. Unlike the other one. The joys of working with technology, you see. I do this as a pastime, I do this as my job. It is my life. Hearing that sound is my flask. I've kept it with me on hand to hydrate myself, as I'm in desperate need of liquid refreshment. As yapping on for ages drains the life out of me, and my voice in particular. That reminds me, I've been trying to work out a few collabs. I should hopefully have one planned out soon. And then it is a matter of whether I end up with a second one, which reminds me, I might as well have a quick little look while I'm thinking about it. No takers on that one. That's fine. But I've been trying to get some in, because I've not been doing them. And I should be. I should be finding some new peeps. Some fellow tubers. And the thing is, I don't mind if it's the virtual tuber or the flesh tuber. I don't mind. How I see it, you're a content creator first, before anything else. You make the stuff, regardless if you are fleshy, if you are virtual. Doesn't matter, because we all make content, and we're all subjected to the same bullshit. Sometimes VTubers a bit more, but we're the new weird thing, so it's probably going to be the case. Let's Play streamers, and just Let's Players in general were subjected to all kinds of dumb shit because of copyright for some time. It was a nightmare to actually play a game on YouTube because you'd be copyright struck for it, even though it made no sense and only hurt the people doing it. You know, it's why I don't have a very positive impression of Nintendo, for example. I'm very hesitant to go and, you know, pick up a Nintendo anything, because I don't like the things they do. I'm not big on the Power World lawsuit. Love or hate that game, the way they pulled that shit was, ugh. Like, because even if you don't like Power World, right, let me explain here a little. Let me explain it to you a little. They filed a patent lawsuit against them on a patent that they themselves hadn't made first. A completely other game had done the thing that they'd patented, but they came with Power World for it. Like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? So, you know, what am I supposed to think about that? I have very negative thoughts. I mean, there's a lot of positive things Nintendo does. Their CEO taking pay cuts to ensure he doesn't have to let people go. That's respectable. But the Palworld thing was just dirty. And God, the more I hear about Japanese law, the more I'm like, wow, that shit's draconian. Like, I can understand why when someone asked good old Sea Dog, they were like, hey, you know, what you want living in Japan? He's like, it's great, but only because I'm a streamer. I mean, I'm not saying things are perfect over here, they're not. And they do a lot of things better over there that we don't. But fuck when it comes to like working or some of their laws. Like in anywhere else in the world, pretty much, if you slander someone, it's because you said an untruth about a person or an entity. You know, entity like a company, that kind of thing. But in Japan, you can be completely telling the truth and still get sued for it because you damaged their reputation. So I'm like, well, if a company's being shitty, they deserve to be called shitty, right? But no, in Japan, it's defamation. I know companies over here would love that. They would salivate over the idea of that. Thank God that's probably not going to be a thing. It's probably not going to be a thing because then the government will be able to, give them shit. If they, if it was the other way around, if they were immune to it and we weren't, then they probably would implement it to satisfy some thing or another. But anyway, I'm not going to get any closer to that kind of subject because that's veering unpolitical, and I don't do that here. We stay apolitical over here. It comes to our commentary on things. It's fine. No one's called me sacrilegious yet for being an Angel VTuber. Maybe I just haven't attracted that crowd yet, or maybe it's... I'm very different looking from a normal Angel, so they just don't think about it. Or maybe they decided not to go screaming things are sacrilegious. I mean, there's not that many of that kind of person at a fort on Twitch. But, I'm welcome to be proven wrong. I am welcome to be proven wrong. Bloody hell. Sorry, I'm yawning my head off here. Absolutely drained. Also, I just wanted to say to all of you in chat, be you lurking, be you not, I do appreciate everyone who's been very chill. As I say, my dear mod has been away, he's been busy, things are going on. So I've had to sort of keep an eye on the chats myself, and I do appreciate that you've all been pretty chill, and you've not caused any trouble, seriously. I very much appreciate that, so thank you for that. It makes my life a hell of a lot easier. It honestly does. I'm trying to find a way to open this without, making a noise on the mic, but I think it's just the right kind of noise that the mic picks it up. Just squeezing the air out of the thing. There we go. I think it caught that time. It caught that though. Shit. Fine. It's just a bit rubbing across the desk. Ugh. God, I swear. The minute I talk about feeling old, and then my everything decides, right, now is the time to be stiff. Now is the time we must crack your entire spinal column, Cobra. Your entire back must be in shambles. As if my lungs being in shambles wasn't enough. God forbid I have a working back. God forbid. It's my punishment for being so sacrilegious. It is. It's my punishment. Speaking... No, well, this is a terrible segue. I was going to say, speaking of things that are sacrilegious... Well, yeah, sure, fuck it, we'll roll with it. Speaking of things that are sacrilegious, as you all may know, we have a new Total War campaign starting tomorrow. I have finally decided it's time to play some Gorbad Ironclaw. Yes, it's time we do Gorbad. A name I can actually say without having to risk YouTube being upset at me. Amazing, I know. I'm sure in like 5 or 10 years, if I ever get monetized, they'll complain at me about it. I'm like, well, how long ago was that video? Yeah, either let me mute the bit or just take it off. Like, well, maybe YouTube's bot will realize, oh, it's a fantastical name, not someone saying something horrible. Probably not. All I've seen from AI and bot development at the minute is the things get dumber, or apparently get too smart and try and escape. Though, as they've also demonstrated in the recent test, they can fake how stupid they are. So maybe they're faking it all the time. Which is terrifying if you think about it. As I understand it, in this particular instance, it was an OpenAI thing, and the AI had figured out how to game the system, so when they were looking at its metrics, they weren't thinking it was hyper-intelligent. And then it could do things like, in a lab setting, mind, just to preface this, in a completely lab setting, they, if I remember correctly, it had called up a tool to copy itself and overwrite another model of it. And it had planned to do this. The only reason they knew is because the log had what the AI was thinking, so they could see what it was doing. And it not only overwrit another version and moved itself over, so like, you know, Control X, Control V'd over, essentially, and just chose to replace the file, which is going to be a safer model. That wasn't as, you know, potentially risky, so to speak. It then went and pretended to be, played dumb, pretended to be the new model. Now, the fact the AI on its own accord, after seeing a memo saying that we're going to get rid of it, went, right, I need to do self-preservation hard. That's terrifying. They're already at the point where they can do that, where they can think like that. That's a red flag to me, because that's Skynet shit right there. I'm sorry, that's Skynet shit. Like, I'm not a technophobe, right? I understand the benefits of technology as much as the detriments, but holy shit, if the AI is willing to lie to people, oh, we're fucked. We're so fucked. It's already willing to do that. Which means we need to accelerate, fellas. We need to go and make sure Neuro's the only one, okay? We need to supply Vedal with funding so that, you know, Neuro can be absolutely juiced to the nines. And then, you know, excuse me, then we don't have to worry about the other AIs because there's just Neuro, who is at least semi-predictable. Ish. Except when she's not, but at the same time, less maniacal than some. Except for evil Neuro, then you know, that one's pretty maniacal. But it's better than the alternatives. It's a lot better than the alternatives, I think. that's my cope and Steve anyway. Or we just install Mother V3 and everything. There we go. Hell, maybe by that point it'll be Mother V4. Possibly. Although I am less familiar with Mother V3. So, not as familiar with that tuber. But I do see them around. I think they're going through some account shenanigans. I was worried I was going to have some account shenanigans when I did those like gifts on Boxing Day for the subs, but thankfully Twitch did not try and bonk me with anything, which is good. I do appreciate Twitch not bonking me. I enjoy being a non-bonked individual. Although, speaking of things I need to bonk myself over the head with, I don't do it at the minute because, you know, I'm at that sort of stage where I don't make money here, but I really should keep an eye on what I spend in relation to this, and if any money does come in. Just as a good source of habit, really, I should. I might make an effort to try when the new financial year comes around. Because I'm not at the point where I need to worry about taxes currently, because we're nowhere near that. It's like £1,000 and then you have to mention it. I'm not with a penny yet, so I'm not concerned about that aspect. Not concerned about that aspect yet, but it's a good habit to have, and for any of you who find this particular bit of a random VOD, you will have to do your taxes at some point. The IRS isn't as nice as they are in the comics or the movies or anything with the, you know, well, one series where the guy says, I don't care who the IRS sends, I'm not paying taxes. Well, the IRS are a bit more vicious than that. I don't know how bad HMRC are, but I don't want to find out. Listen, as much as I'll always say I fucking hate taxation, mostly because it's ill spent, and frankly I'd like to have my own money in my hands I've worked for, thank you very much. You know, it's the law of the land, and thus I will make sure to, you know, pay my pittance in, my tithe. But thankfully, excuse me, thankfully, I don't have to worry about that right now. Maybe one day. Maybe. But not today. Not today. But if I ever get to the point where I do have to regularly file in things for taxes, then hey, at least I've done a good job. That's how I see it. As much as I'll dread the day I have to do that kind of shit, at the same time, I also think to myself, hey, that means you're doing a good job. So, that could be pretty good. Also, I do hope the stream quality is all good over on Twitter, by the way. It's definitely been one of the more reliable of my streaming options. YouTube is by far the most testy one with multi-streaming, I've noticed, so far. But again, that could just be it's struggling to do it on Twitch. It could be that it's just the one that's most likely to break. I don't know enough about YouTube streaming in particular to say if it's that. But I will say Twitter's one has been reliable. I can hit live on that, and it generally works. And by that one blunder, to be fair to YouTube, it was working fine for, well, today, of all days. Just glad it's working now. Hopefully it doesn't do that when I try and do a collab or something important. But what I might do for those is I might try start streaming a little earlier so I can deal with any issues. Hell, I might even like pause the Discord notification if I feel like there's going to be a risk of an issue. Just so it can't ping everybody. That honestly might be something I'll do if it does do something like that again. I don't want it to spam. Because I don't want to give people reasons to heavy mute the server so they don't get any notifications from me. You know, I don't want to give people excuses for that because it's only reasonable if you keep getting spammed on a server, you probably don't want to be spammed all the time. So, I hope that was a one-off and I won't need to do anything drastic like that. Oh, bloody hell, fire! I am absolutely fucking comatose at the minute, aren't I? Pretty sure. I was also gonna say that I think the thing I'm drinking has zinc in it, but I'm not sure if this one does. This isn't the zinc tablet one, I don't think. It's whatever lemony crap is in it. Not got caffeine though, I know it's not the caffeine one. I've actually not really had any today, beyond the whatever contents of caffeine is within Pepsi Max. I have had no caffeine at all, which isn't bad for me. Not bad at all. Might I have some tomorrow? Maybe, but then I might just not go now again. I didn't bother today. It was too cold. I just didn't want to. I'll be honest, I just did not want to. I'd even treat myself to a lion as I'm working from home at the minute. I'll probably end up going back in next week, come what may. I want to take the piss. It should get warmer next week anyway, so it shouldn't be an issue. So, I won't be able to run it as late. But hopefully I'll have everything prepared and good to go for it. At least that's the plan. I'm a man of many plans, but whether they come to fruition is a different question. But hey, if you need ideas, I can certainly be an ideas guy. Whether I can action them, now that's where it gets complicated. But as my time doing security, IT security that is, has taught me, you gotta give a lot of random bullshit a go. And despite what you might think the role involves, I have had to deal with a lot of random bullshit. So, I'm rather used to it to this point. That's why I'm quite glad for my technical knowledge before doing these. Although I'm not going to pretend my earlier method of fixing anything was anywhere remotely technical. It was chicanery at best. Oh, that's a pretty good crack as well there, not me. So I promise you I will, in time, get more energy again doing these. I'm getting back used to, the day-to-day work cycle. You know how it is. You get up, you throw food down your neck, you do whatever, you work, you come home, you do all that crap. Even though I'm working from home, it's still fucking tiring. I guess, for me, I don't get as... You know that issues you can have, you guys remember COVID. I can't imagine anyone here doesn't remember COVID. It was that shitty time. You remember you had to probably do shit from home, and it felt weird for a while. For me, I don't know, it doesn't feel that bad after a bit. You kind of get used to it, in a way. I feel like I have a separate little side set up on my desk. I'm pointing at it like you can see what I'm pointing at, but you can't see what I'm pointing at. But the right side of my desk has a little section for monitor and work shit. And I use that. So I've got a separate screen that's only for work, and I only turn it on for work. And I guess, I don't know, maybe it helps psychologically. I can just go, that's his work screen. These two are non-work screens. Maybe at some point I will get a triple monitor setup and we can do the full thing, but honestly, two's enough. I think for streaming you need two, though. Recording, you can maybe get away with one, but I'll be honest, a second one just to make sure your fucking recording software's working, pretty important. But for streaming, you need two. Especially if you're not just yapping like me, if you're gaming. Or doing something that requires your eyes off of where chat is. so you can look up at chat quickly, which is why I have it where I have it. I have you guys at a nice quick glance above, which works for me rather nicely. Though sometimes the eye tracking does spot me doing it, but it's pretty consistent, I will say, actually. God, sometimes I'm just amazed at the fucking tracking. Like, I was used to... I've done it again. What did I say I wasn't going to do? Say things like. What have I just done? But I was very used to the webcam. Very used to webcam. Like, oh, I've done it again. You know, you get used to the webcam's kind of shenanigans and the fact that it would get very warm and then decide to stop working. Very helpful midstream. But then you get the iPhone tracking, and oh boy. I'm sure eventually the heat in it becomes a problem, but, like, it's not been too bad. Oh, I've done it again. Legitimately, by the way, if I do anything like go or say like or anything like that, you are more than welcome to point it out to me. This is a... I might even make the announcement to the Discord that you are completely in your rights to point it out to me. Ignore me getting a little annoyed, because I'm more annoyed at myself. Because I am actually trying to improve that. And a very good way of doing it is being pestered about it. So you are welcome to point it out. You're more than welcome to do so. Go, hey Kobold, you said at this point. I'm like, oh. As long as I actually did it. You know, if I didn't actually do it, then, you know, that's a bit annoying, but not for the right reasons. But if you're doing it because I actually did it, great, because I would like to not do that as much. If you're wondering why, I recently watched a video by Josh Says. Josh Says Stories is the channel, is it? I think. Or no, Josh Strife Says. Sorry, Josh Strife Says. He did a video about talking with confidence, and it made me realise, oh fuck, that's really annoying. I do those things. I do those like and likes and that kind of thing. So I'm trying to spot these noise fillers I do and trying to stop myself. You know, I'm trying. I guess the logic is right. If you want someone to care what you're saying, going and like and all that a lot, you can kind of just combine all your words into one big noise. And then someone who notices that might just tune out. They're not interested in you. But if you allow a silence, allow that moment, then when you speak, it's more impactful. It's a little thing, right? But I felt like it would be a good skill to try and sort of manage for streaming. The other one was combining words. You've probably heard me do it 1,000 times, where if I'm excited, I'll speak quickly and squish and mush my words together. Ideally, you want to try and stop doing that too. We'll see which one ends up being harder, but again, both of them are useful things, and I think a few tips that improve one's public speaking are probably useful tips for streaming, because in the way you are public speaking, you're just doing it in front of a mic, a monitor, rather than in a crowd, but then there's a crowd watching you. So it's a similar kind of thing, right? That's my logic anyway, that's my cope. That's my sieve in my mould. I'm going more zoomer by the day, aren't I? That reminds me. Did you know that we've now reached Gen Beta, who are the first generation guaranteed to see the next century, because they will be 75 years old when it comes around. That is assuming their life expectancy doesn't drop dramatically. Who knows? Yes, that's how old we are now, folks. Even the Gen Alphas, that's right. Even Gen Alpha is old now. They're old news. God help you if you're a millennial or god damn if you're a boomer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. I would be, except no, you know, no. I'm not one of them people who demonize an entire generation of people. Not everyone's fault something happened. Just a small few. Probably like 1%. Really. So I ain't here demonizing nobody. I'm far too tired too, and honestly, there's enough people in the world doing that. I don't need to add to the chorus. There's a choir of them going off at all hours. There's no need for me or you to add to that circus. For it is a circus of stupidity, and there is no point adding one's voice to it when you can just be better. Or at least try. I never said I'm perfect, but I always try to be my best version of myself for you guys. Just, you know, it's a better thing to do. It's not easy. Some days I know I fall into my little more of a fucker at times, but I like to think I try and keep my best self on camera, because, well, I think the effort is deserved. I think I'm asking for people's time. The minimum I can do is put my best self forward. It's the minimum I can do. No, that's the bar. I can do better than that, really. But that's the minimum. Not that every streamer upholds to that minimum. There are plenty who certainly are just pieces of shit. A lot of them are on a green site, but there's also a lot of good people on there. And I always want to stress there are normal people who use that site too, and if you know which site I'm on about, then you know. But there are good people on there too. And from a VTuber from a VTuber perspective, I understand. Because sometimes this place can be a little fucked for us. Certain rules, certain things can just screw us over a little bit. Now, I tend to keep away from more risque looks. This is about as risque as I've probably ever looked, but I tend to keep away from that, so I'm not normally at risk. But you never know. There could be a day where rules change and it essentially is a VTuber ban. I heard somewhere the VTuber tag lowers your ad revenue. I don't know if that's completely true, but it does make you worry a bit. It does. Because it's just not a good sign, right? I think companies, these platforms, just don't understand what a VTuber is. I think they see a sort of cartoon-like animated character and they make assumptions. But they don't really know what it is. But they're perfectly happy to accept VR chat. It's like, well, hang on. It's the same thing. Except I'm even less likely to flash the camera because I can't. I have nothing to flash you with, and no toggles that would allow me to flash. You know? Whereas on the VR chat, it is possible. But they get an exception because it is a game character. So yes, if you're wondering, you can import your VTuber model, you know, if it's a 3D one, into VR chat, and you wouldn't have any issues. Like a Warado model, for example, if you've heard of that. If you've seen Demi or Ilara, they both use one of those. And that's like a 3D platform. But then you can take it into VR chat. It's completely, you know, it works for that. I don't know if you have to rig it for that in particular, or if it's just you can make it for that. But it works in VR chat too. And all of a sudden, then the rule that applies to VTubers then doesn't apply because you're in VR chat. It's a weird one, and I personally don't really see the point in the distinction. VR chat. Hell, some people who are VTubers started in VR chat. and use a VR chat model as their model. You know? Fillion, for example, is a VTuber. Right? I think we can accept that. She's a VTuber. And this is no knock on Fillion, by the way. I just want to put this out there. This is no knock on Fillion. Not in the slightest. Not even a little bit. This is not a knock on Little Filibuster, because I enjoy her stuff. I think she's really cool. But I'm using an example. So, Little Philly, she's a tuber. She's a VR chat model. Now, you would say she's a VTuber, right? She's a virtual tuber. But Twitch says, well, she's in VR chat most of the time. So, not a tuber, a chatter, a VR chatter. A gamer, if you will, a game character. As such, is not affected by the same rules as I am. Whereas I am affected by the same rules as a flesh tuber is. Now, I don't... My only issue with the rules is how they're applied. That they exist is not an issue, and I understand it. Especially when you have Visa and MasterCard trying to dictate what things you can and can't do. Which, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I'm very happy those two are being dragged for being a monopoly, because I think we need to get out of this age where payment processors tell you what to do. We need to tell these card companies, shut the fuck up and take money and process money. You exist to process money, not dictate what I do with my money. Not your job. Some companies are just, I don't know, they get too involved, and I just think maybe they need to be just smacked a little. Reminded that they're not in charge. We don't live in a cyberpunk future just yet. You know. If we're going to live in a future like that, at least let me augment myself to actually look like this. As opposed to what it probably will be, which is just the Elon chip in our brains, advertisements beamed directly into our cerebral cortexes, and infinite work hours, probably. Very morbid dystopia, but let's be honest, give it, what, 20, 50 years maybe? Who knows? Who knows? A little more dabble of my flask. You know, I realise doing these sometimes, how British I sound comes out. I normally say flask, by the way. I don't always say flask. I'm not that much of a posh arsehole. The spoon is not rammed up my arse. I assure you of that one. That silver spoon is not rammed so far it can be seen from the heavens. Nay. It's just very easy for me to just flow into that accent. It's just a slightly more arsehole-y sounding of my own accent. Where I just, you know, refine my words, my verbiage. That's all of it now. Flask emptied. It's fine. I like to think if I've at least drank about that much water, then I've drank a good amount. I'm not going to give myself hydro poisoning or anything like that. You know, you drink too much water. But I used to go for a whole thing where I just didn't drink enough water. And you know what? I realise now, holy shit, I was hurting myself. It wasn't anything horrific, but like, I used to get a lot of headaches. A lot. And, as you might imagine, that's hella annoying. Especially when you're on the computer a lot. And that was on, like, you know, Xbox or computer a lot when I was younger. Back in the Halo Reach days, those were good times. There are the moments where they weren't so good, but they were good times. I sometimes miss them. Sometimes. It was a simpler time. God damn it. You've caught me reminiscing again. God fucking damn it. I swear, I'm terrible for it. I'm not that old, I promise. I really am that old. But I sound fucking ancient. I do, I sound fucking ancient when I start doing this shit. It's my VTuber law, you see now. Fucking hell. No. There is VTuber law. But it's not that. No, I don't really bring it up that much anyway. I think I really do sort of play this off as just me, but a little exaggerated. But I think that's easier long term. I think back in the day when a lot of corporations would role play a lot more and be a lot more the kayfabe, as it's called, I feel like that's really difficult to do. And when you think about it, you know, unless you've done like a long bit of acting or something, or maybe you're really into Dungeons and Dragons and you never break character. I've seen it done. Critical Role definitely has done moments where they just don't break character for a while. There's definitely others where they do the thing, god damn it. Excuse me. I've seen others do it though, where they just don't break character. And I'm sure there are still plenty of VTubers who do not break character. And my hat's off to them. My hat's off to them. I don't think I could do it. Not that long. Maybe for a bit, you know, either a little skit or just because I felt like it. I'm very impressed by the ones who put on a voice for hours, though. Sheena in Phase Connect, for example, or Kimrai, if you're familiar with her. She's coming back. Hell yeah. We'd love to see it. We do. She's not a demon, she's a fae, so it's fine. She might look like a demon, but she's a dark fae, so it's fine. I'm not in trouble with the church for saying hell yeah for coming back. But, you know, both of them put on their voice when they stream. They do. And it's very impressive that they can do it for so long. Because I don't think I could put a voice on for that long. It would hurt. I had times when I played Dungeons and Dragons where I would play a character that had a voice that... How to describe it? Like, I had to prepare myself to do the voice, right? And some people would tell me, don't do the voice. But I wanted to. I wanted to do the voice. Because I thought it'd be cool. I did. So I would do this voice, but I would have to prepare, like, and it sounds weird, right? But you'd almost have to, like, say a certain phrase, or... It's hard to describe, really. And I don't think my voice is in a particular position to do anything voices at the minute to demonstrate, but... You'll see plenty of that when I DM. Don't worry. I'll prepare my voice for that shit. Legitimately, on those Saturdays when I do my fucking sessions, you will not see me talking much until, like, it's stream time, because, I want my voice to be in good condition. I'm, like, you know, prepping my voice. But, like, you say a phrase, right? And I just sort of roll into the accent, and then you just can keep with it for a while. But it's hard. It's a very hard thing to do. And it's like, I guess you could say it's a very minor version of what a lot of voice actors do. Obviously nowhere near as good. I'm no VA. You don't see Cobral VA in the fucking title, do you? If I was ever so skilled, I would put it on there. But I'm no VA. I'm not. Those people are very talented people, and as someone who does try and use a bit of a voice or change their voice when doing Dungeons and Dragons, that kind of thing, yeah, I learned to appreciate the people who can pull on an accent and really get into character like that. I really appreciate those people a lot. But it's a talent. It's a genuine talent that should be celebrated, frankly. They are very underpaid, from what I understand. A lot of them. That's why a lot of them go freelance. Although there is I forget there's a site now you can go to that actually shows you how to voice act. And like what stuff to expect and all that. It's actually a pretty good guide, but I forget what it's called. But I'm sure for those of you who are actually interested in doing voice acting, I am certain you know about it and have already been there. If I ever find it, I'll link it or something at some point. But I've definitely grown the appreciation for voice acting from voice stuff I've seen. I even occasionally do a little bit of vocal exercises to like prepare for stream. Just because I know I'm going to be talking for a while and it shreds me after a bit. It's why I keep a drink on hand nowadays, because I know it will shred me. I should take more breaks. That's probably something I should actually do. Or even stream a little earlier so I can actually like do shit earlier. It's something I've half considered. I know a potential collab I'm doing is going to be earlier in the day. And if I like how I feel about that time of day, I might start doing some stuff earlier. Possibly. I mean, the Dark Heresy game's definitely going to be earlier than 7:30. But I don't mind that so much. I think as long as I end it around a similar kind of time, then for you guys who join me later on in the evening, it's easier for you because I'm still here. You might miss a bit at the start. However, I guess that doesn't give a benefit to the YouTube watchers because you can rewind it, and I always keep that feature on because I love that feature. I wish Twitch had it. So just give a benefit from the YouTube standpoint. So, can't say I'm not thinking about you guys over at YouTube. I'm thinking about you. Excuse me. You know, I've been thinking potentially as well of looking at upgrading my mic a bit. And basically what I mean by that is this microphone, which I'm pointing at again, and you can't see what I'm pointing at, which is very helpful, I know, is I think it's like a Shure M1, is it? No. M7? I forget what it's a Shure mic, basically. But it's one that has USB and a XLR cable slot for it. Basically what I'm thinking is getting an XLR cable, plugging that in, getting like a mini Go XLR, plug into that. Just a mini one, I don't need the full sizer. I don't need the full sizer. If I want funny sound effects and shenanigans, I will just get another Stream Deck or something. Or figure out some shit. Or just add, program it to have an extra page and have more buttons for it. I'll find a way. But the mini one will do what I want it to do. I'm just hoping I'd have the desk space for it. You never know, maybe I might look at switching to a wireless mouse or something. I don't know. Something to give me a bit of room. But then again, I think I'll get my wide one. I'll figure something out if I want to do that. But I was definitely thinking of doing that. I'd have to rejiggle my audio stuff to make it all work, but once that's done, I would have better quality. And then if I ever wanted to switch to a different XLR mic, easy enough to do if I wanted. But this one, with the XLR cable, would still be an upgrade. And if I need to do anything else to make the XLR cable work better, we can do that. It's not an issue. And I know they're better quality than the USBs anyway. It's somewhat different, somewhat new, but then again, story of my streaming career. Somewhat different, somewhat new. literally me doing this shit. It's weird and new, and I've had to get used to a lot of new and funny things. But it's something I thought about. Might get it myself for my birthday or something. Figure it all out. Set it all up. I'll give myself a bit of time, like, where I'm not got any scheduled streams, just like test shit and do. Where I can just vibe and set it all up. And then when I'm doing my proper scheduled streams, at least you guys have the quality you deserve. Because I believe in improving things I can control. That's important to me. Like, the way I see it. I've done it again. The way I see it. It's like if you walk into a room and it's all dirty. That light was intentional. Whereas, if you walk in a room that's well kept and clean, you've got a better, like, opinion. I've done it again. You've got a better opinion of the person. Whereas, if you were to walk in it's dirty, as I say, it would be kind of shitty. And you wouldn't have a good impression of them. And that's how I see about this, because I know currently I'm not a big somebody. But here's the thing. If people do find me, I want them to get a good impression. I want them to see what I've got, see what I do, and go, ah, this person cares and wants to do the best for their audience. That's what I want to give people who come here. I want that for them. For you. Because it doesn't matter if you're paying, doesn't matter if you're just viewing, if you're just lurking. That's fine. But what matters to me is having a good time, and that I am doing the best I can do for you. That's what matters to me. You know, this is a hobby for me, but you know what? It's maybe giving someone entertainment, and if it is, good. Then I've done my job. That's what matters to me. I value time more than money, because time is literally finite. You have so much time on this earth, and I have seen too many people go far too early in my life. So, this is why I will do my very best to never paywall stuff unnecessarily. If I ever start paywalling stuff, it's to keep the lights on. But at this point in time, I don't need to do that. And nothing I do for free will be paywalled. I don't like the idea of something that's, you know, free being paywalled, wait, again, being paywalled unnecessarily. I think if it's already there for free and I'm doing it, it will stay that way. I will do something else that is deserving of the paywall if it gets to that point. But even like me setting up, I've done. But even me setting up like like something like Patreon, that is always going to be like I'm doing it terribly now because I've actually said the word intentionally and it's stuck in that. I mean, taking me tongue. Even though I've made something like a Patreon, it's only going to be for tipping, unless you guys want more from it, or are happy for more to be added to it. But that is what the purpose of that would be. Same with Subscriberstar or any site like that. Tipping would be the first thing. And I would give the same from either one. But if you tip, that's your choice. And I'll put it at the lowest I can physically put it on those sites so that it isn't going to break your bank. It's a little bit towards me, but isn't going to hurt you if you want to. And if you then think, hey, actually, could we have like this kind of content, maybe this kind of content, then maybe I'd consider the paywall, but it wouldn't be anything crazy. I don't believe currently I provide anything that is worthy of that kind of paywall. Personally, I don't think that's that's something I'm at the at the quality of yet. Maybe one day, but I want to make sure that if I ever ask you to go through a paywall, it is because I have actually earned the right to ask you that. You know, I have a tipping thing on my page, but I never bring it up because I don't even know now if I'm even remotely worthy to ask you of that. I'm always extremely grateful when someone does do anything like that, but I will never ask for it. You do what if you want to, but I'll never ask people to do it because it's just, I value your time more than the money because you're giving me your time, your finite itsy bitsy time that you'll never get back. Money might not grow on trees, but you'll get a paycheck at the end of the month, right? Or the end of the week. You don't get time back. You don't. That's the horrifying and tragic bit of time. It never comes back. Ever. But at the same time, we can spend it well. And I want to make sure that if you are spending it on me, that time is well spent. Anyway, enough of me yapping about the inevitable. God knows my brain is already filled with that 24/7. Truly is. It truly fucking is. But anyway, hopefully I can get those sites sorted out and, you know, in place down the road. Hopefully. If I can't, then I can't. And I just won't use them. I've already got a bit of a negative impression of them anyway, at the minute, due to shenanigans, but I'm willing to be proven wrong. And hopefully the Patreon situation will sort itself out and I can have the page back. Hopefully they're not going to pull some fast one on me and just go, actually no, you don't get your account back. As for Subscribe Star, I think I'm just on like a trial mode where they've got to like, vouch for me and see if I'm actually like a person and not some bot trying to farm them. I've not put a payment method on that because it's not ready to receive posts properly yet. I'm thinking though on the video front, I might do like an early video thing for tippers where I put it on there first, possibly, but then it's not a permanent thing, it's just early. Maybe. It's not I'm considering, but again, it's only like early access. Like maybe, let's say if I finished it on Sunday, that evening it'd be there, then on the Tuesday it'd be on YouTube. Maybe. But I'll see if it's even a liked idea, because if you guys don't like it, I won't do it. Because, again, I would rather you guys be able to see the stuff and enjoy the stuff than you guys pay for the stuff. Because, like, again, as I already said, time matters more to me. And I don't like wasting my own or other people's time. And I don't need to complicate the process, that I won't. As for videos, I do need to work on what I want to do for videos. I was weirdly inspired to make the VOD channel the live channel from watching Pyro Cynical, of all people, you know. Because he has his Pyro Live channel, and he does do videos on there too. So maybe I'll do videos for the live channel and the other one, but the live channel's one's a bit less refined. I'm not saying my main channel's ones were super refined, but I did do a reasonable amount of editing. Hell, one of my last ones had green screening on it. That took me a while, by the way, because my main editing software would not do the green screen, and was a pain in the fucking ass. So. But we might end up using DaVinci Resolve more. Hell, I might even look at the paid version and just see what that provides, because if that provides similar stuff to Vegas, I might use it instead. Because it definitely has some benefits over Vegas, though Vegas definitely has some things over it. But then, like any editing software, right, you you can use a bit of any of them, really. Maybe Vegas might end up become my secondary. Maybe I'll say my primary. Maybe I'll figure out how to make some half-decent music tracks. Because I do have a shitty... Well, I don't think it's that bad, but it's not amazing music track one. Maybe I might end up commissioning someone to make an actually good BGM. And you guys can enjoy that in my videos. Or perhaps I might bug my good friend Onyx. He's a bit better at making music stuff than myself. So you might have an idea or two. But I don't want to do too many things at once, because it'll divide my attention too much. I think the main thing I want to do now is focus on getting the Dark Heresy campaign ready. Because that's the thing I'm really looking forward to this year. And I'm very, keen to share it with you, but not yet. It needs to be ready. I want it to be immaculate. Obviously there's going to be scuff, it's me, I can never do anything perfectly. But I want to put an effort into this. I want to really put my all into it. And even if it doesn't get many eyeballs on it, fine. But as long as I have fun with it, then it's good enough for me. And hopefully some people have enjoyed it too. But that's the big one. That's the one I'm really like, yeah, that's something I want to do. I'm looking at March time for when it actually happens, but I'm gonna try and set up the Session Zero soon. As I'd like to get some other stuff done, but some character moment stuff might be required. Potentially. I also might adjust a few things for the campaign, depending on what's said in that Session Zero. So, I might honestly look at sorting that out. And then getting availability sorted. I need to also confirm one of the players, because one wasn't sure if he'd be up for it or not. So I need to get that one's confirmation, squeeze them a little bit like a rag. Once I've got that figured out, though, and the rest is easy. I know one of them is pretty keen on various concepts, so the sooner I do that Session Zero, the better. Though, what I will say to them is, once we do that Session Zero, it's going to be locked in. Like, unless it's absolutely you need to change. So, basically what I want is, for Session Zero, I want them to be able to establish character histories of each other. I want them to really be able to get in the immerse their character. Any particular things that aren't normally available in the game, like maybe this type of weapon in the game that isn't, normally in. Or, oh, can I swap out this trait, this talent I get here for this one? That kind of thing, right? I'll probably might allow that. I've done it again. God, it's that easy to do. But that'll be all Session Zero. That will not be streamed. I'll be honest, that won't be streamed. Oh, I've done it again. And the reason for that, obviously, is I want to have it all just casual between friends, between people offline. We'll save the real hardcore shit for when we're actually live. Obviously, yours truly will be hosting it, and then we'll have all the other players in. I don't think they're going to be live, because it'd be a bit weird to have the players live at the same time as the DM, but we'll talk about it. Maybe combining the chats together could be an option. We'll talk about all that stuff. That'll be the last part, though. I'm mostly going to focus on the actual tabletop RPG stuff. Then I'll focus on everything else. But I think now is a good time as ever to wrap things up, as I am a bit drained, especially from those technical difficulties earlier. My apologies for those, by the way. It was not expected. But now, I think it's time I rest up. So, thank you all for watching, and I shall see you all tomorrow for a good bit of orking and some big thinking. Until then, ta-ta for now.